Hi, thanks for joining us for a new video. This time we have an unboxing of the Motorola Edge 70. Let's get started. This particular device belongs to Motorola's upper middle range. The launch price in Mexico is 12,999 pesos. As you might notice, it's not exactly cheap, indicating that this series is gradually becoming more expensive, which is quite interesting. But anyway, let's get to know it better by first checking what's included in the box. After that, we'll explore the device's specifications to understand what it can offer us. Upon reaching the box, we notice the Pantone collaboration continues and the device color is lily pad box. It appears there's another box inside, which we'll check shortly. Let's first remove the cell phone, which you can see already features a special button to call Moto. So the initial concept from Motorola is that one would break this packaging. However, I do not want to do that. Instead, we'll carefully attempt to remove this section delicately and then we'll directly encounter the device. There it is. I do believe we've made it. One thing to note is that here Motorola emphasizes in their packaging that it comes without plastic and everything is recyclable. It's interesting to see that they have embraced the proposal to care for the environment, but it seems if it includes a charger, it seems we will find out shortly. Let's power on the cell phone and take a quick first glance. Honestly, it has a very pleasant texture. Motorola retains much of its characteristic essence with this camera leaf, yet you can sense an evolution regarding the materials and the feel of the device, which is quite delightful. However, while it's running, let's take a moment to explore what's available over here in this box that was placed on the lid. So let's take a look and see. We have some documentation. Here's the usual paperwork you can't miss. Over here we have the tool to remove the SIM card tray, oddly in an envelope, which is a bit strange. But look, a nice surprise, it comes with a sleeve. This is really something that is definitely quite nice. Even though this is a completely transparent case, in this particular situation we're discussing a durable case with reinforced corners to protect the device. Therefore, I believe this is a great enhancement for durability, although it doesn't do much for the aesthetics or even the feel in hand. This is because the device naturally has a textured, very pleasant and ultra-thin feel. However, once you put the case on it, it will definitely lose some of its aesthetics and the feel when you hold it in your hand. Now, I believe I would personally use this device without a case. However, let me know down here in the comments how you would prefer this. Cell phone. Would you choose with a case or without a case? Personally, I think I have things very clear and I would choose without a case. So after hearing this wonderful news about having a built-in holster, let's take a look at what else is included over here in the box, because it still has a second story to tell. So here we have it. Let's see if we have the cable and charger included. Applause for Motorola that decides to take care of the environment by reducing plastic and more, but do not take us the charger out of the box. This charger, let's see if we check it out, is traditional Motorola 68 watts and evidently, as you realize, it comes modern with USB-C in its connector. Therefore, the cable is USB-C on both sides and comes with these highlighted in orange so you can recognize it more easily. Because remember to use the original cable if you want to enjoy the fastest charging possible. That's the device we have right over here. Let me go ahead and save everything so that we can at last take a look at its specifications. We have the device all set up here to take you through its specifications. Let's begin with the thickness. It measures 5.99 millimeters. Which places it firmly in the ultra-thin category. However, as you can see, the camera system is far more competitive than what many ultra-thin models provide, and in this instance it's not prohibitively expensive. The weight is 159 grams and the cover comes with a textured finish, which feels incredibly nice to the touch. I believe it's a bit challenging to demonstrate that on camera, but trust me, it feels quite premium when you hold it. It features metal frames and comes with an IP68 rating. It is equipped with the 69 and 69 ratings for dust and water protection. On the front, it has protection from Gorilla Glass 1. I believe the glass is somewhat lacking when compared to what other manufacturers provide. In this price range, it's becoming more common to encounter Gorilla Glass Victus or even Victus 2. Therefore, the screen protection might be a bit lacking and one should exercise caution. I have the green edition, but it's also in grey and olive. One thing I didn't particularly enjoy is this combination of green and orange. Honestly, it's not my favorite mix of colors. I feel like the color combination didn't quite work well together, but of course, that's just my opinion. Thankfully, there are multiple options available to choose from. The screen measures 6.67 inches, which is a common size in the cell phone industry. However, it has very thin bezels and trust me, it feels really great. We're discussing a poled panel as is traditional with Motorola, in this case with resolution. We are discussing a display resolution of 1.5K, which specifically means 1220 by 2712 pixels. This screen is certainly going to look impressive. However, it may not be the brightest option available, as its peak brightness is 1500 nits. In this aspect, it might fall short when compared to what other manufacturers are beginning to provide. Nevertheless, the reality is that it remains a sufficiently good screen. It features a refresh rate of 120 Hz, ensuring that it is indeed a decent screen. We could ask for more brightness to compete better, but honestly it looks quite good. We also discovered stereo sound, which includes a speaker located at the bottom and another speaker positioned in the earpiece area specifically for calls. Honestly, the sound quality is perceived as mid-range. It offers a broad sound, yet it lacks the expected presence of bass frequencies. Additionally, there is no headphone jack available. The front camera boasts a resolution of 50 megapixels, featuring an f2.0 aperture and a fixed focus. You can see a demonstration showing how the image appears before capturing the picture and how it looks afterward. The truth is that it seems to do a very good job. The fixed focus is optimized for when you have your arm outstretched. So I think we have a good detail, but if I would have liked to see autofocus, especially because it has a 50 megapixel sensor that I think is somehow wasted a little if you do not have autofocus. But hey, we'll test this camera in more depth later. On the back, we will discover two cameras, each with 50 megapixels. To begin with, we have the ultra-wide camera with f2 aperture and autofocus, ideal for macro shots without needing to add. Another macro camera that just adds clutter. At the top, there's the main camera with an f1.8 aperture, autofocus, and optical stabilization. And if you're wondering what this is, well, it's essentially a flicker sensor. Typically, when you concentrate on a screen or when screens are visible within your frame, they can cause flickering to occur. Black lines that are passing by, so this small sensor attempts to avoid any flicker which might be generated. A few different screens. I don't find it particularly useful, but that's what they have included here. It lacks a telephoto camera, and I believe that in this price range we could expect to have one. However, considering that we're talking about a device designed to be very slim, it makes some sense. We get that, but let's check the results. Here is the ultra-wide camera, which looks nice. I like the natural colors, validated by Pantone, so it really looks good. Now you're looking at the main camera, which has good quality. You can see detail for a while, dynamic range and textures. Even at 2x zoom, it looks almost optical. That sensor is well optimized. Now at 4x zoom, it still looks good. It's digital zoom, but it still looks nice. Now you're looking at the 10x zoom, which is usually the maximum on devices that don't have a telephoto camera, and it looks good. But the maximum on this device is 20x. Although here it's already a little more noticeable for the image, but I believe they aim for good optimization. Let's say the zoom isn't terrible, even without a telephoto camera. Clearly, it's not that bad. The category competes with devices having telephoto cameras for better portrait photos. For video, 4K at 30 frames is the max quality, making it less competitive. Fortunately, the ultra-wide camera also records in 4K, which not all devices support this, even if it provides a transition here between both cameras, although it's a rather abrupt transition. However, at least if you're able to switch between both cameras while recording in this high quality, you could actually record in HDR as well, if you wish to achieve a greater dynamic range. Additionally, the front camera is capable of recording in 4K. The battery is 4800 mAh and it supports 68 watts charging with the charger included in the box. The only thing we might ask for here is wireless charging as well, which I believe in this price range is already something that some manufacturers are starting to incorporate to make cell phones more appealing. However, in this case, it does not have that option, and interestingly, fast charging is disabled. As you can see, it is a battery that is not very large. However, considering that it competes in the category of ultra-thin phones, we would consider it to be quite a good battery. We will conduct our test later to find out more, and more about its autonomy, but for now, it appears to be quite acceptable. On the operating system, we have Android 16, which is indeed very good news. It comes updated from the factory, and it is anticipated to receive software updates for 3 years and security patches for 5 years. As shown, it has a Moto button. Press and hold to call Moto, or press twice for another feature. It's important to remember that here in Moto we are going to discover a variety of different categories of features. This is made possible through our collaboration with Perplex. Copilot also introduces Gemini from Google. We must log in before using all options, so we need to. Later I'll definitely show you how to use it in the video review. All the functions that it brings integrated, among them is the generation of images, the creation of playlists, another function that lets you record and summarize key points. You can also save these as reminders or important information so the device itself can remind you, or you can request that information later. Additionally, you can perform general searches for things in internet. Alternatively, it can provide you with a detailed summary of your notifications. This means it offers some really beneficial features, enhancing its overall functionality and usefulness. On this from Moto, and in terms of performance, it comes equipped with the Snapdragon 7 Gen 4 along with 12 GB of RAM and 512 GB of storage. While it may not be the most powerful processor available in this price range, it is quite a decent processor for most users. The storage is crucial, offering a large amount of space, but if you're someone who likes to focus on numbers, here are the results. In Geekbench, this processor scored 1,328 points in single-core and 4,140 in multi-core. In Antutu, it scored 13,98,058 points. Notice that during the test, it dropped 5% battery, which I believe is average. So, despite the small battery, it shouldn't be too costly. This was the first look at the Motorola Edge 7T. In the video review, we'll analyze it with tests. We've reached the end. If you liked it, let us know. See you next time.